Hey there, and welcome. So you've definitely seen these cards before, right? Tarot cards. They're everywhere, from fortune tellers' tables to movies and TV shows. But what if I told you that all that fortune-telling stuff, what if that's just a cover story, a clever disguise for their real purpose? What if they're not really cards at all? We're going to dive into a pretty wild theory, that these cards aren't for predicting who you're going to marry. No, they might just be one of the world's most brilliant books, a whole system of universal knowledge, hidden right out in the open for centuries. So that brings up a really important question. How on earth do you hide a secret text from people who'd want to destroy it? Well, the answer is kind of simple, and honestly, it's genius. You hide it as a vice. You make it look like a game of chance. The theory is that ancient wise men and women, wanting to keep their deepest knowledge safe, coded it all into a set of pictures, and then they attached it to something they knew humanity would never give up: gambling. This basically guaranteed it would survive, passed along by the very people who had zero idea what they were actually protecting. I mean, you gotta admire the strategy here, and the occultist Papias just nails it. By turning their sacred book into a simple deck of cards, the creators made sure it would be passed down for generations, not by careful scholars, but by gamblers and folks just looking to pass the time. The ignorant and the foolish became, without even knowing it, the guardians of this profound wisdom. It's just a fascinating thought, right? That our vices could accidentally end up preserving our greatest virtues? Okay, so if the tarot is a secret book, who wrote it? This is where the plot really thickens. The hunt for where the tarot actually came from is a huge debate, with clues pointing in a bunch of fascinating and totally contradictory directions. So let's look at the two main suspects. One theory points to the Knights Templar. The story goes that after the Crusades, they brought back all this esoteric knowledge from Syria and disguised it as cards so they wouldn't get accused of heresy. But then there's this other really compelling theory that traces the cards way, way further back, to the Romani people. This idea suggests they were actually descendants of Egyptian priests who managed to save the legendary Book of Thoth, which might be the tarot, from the fire that destroyed the Library of Alexandria, carrying it with them as they wandered the world. And just to add another layer to this mystery, we have the Rosicrucians, a secret philosophical society. They talked a lot about something called the Rota Mundi, which means wheel of the world. Now, check this out. What happens when you just rearrange the letters of Rota? You get Tarot, the ancient name for the deck. Is that just a coincidence, or is it a deliberate clue hiding in plain sight this whole time? To really get what this book is all about, we have to decode its structure, its table of contents, if you will. The deck isn't just a random pile of pictures, it's a super organized system. So let's break down how it all fits together. The tarot is split into two main parts. First, you've got the 22 cards of the major arcana, which means the greater secrets. These are the absolute heart of the deck. They represent the big ideas, the core principles, and the archetypal experiences of life. Then you have the 56 cards of the minor arcana, the lesser secrets, which are all about the nitty-gritty of daily life, spread across 4 different worlds, or what we call suits. Let's really focus on that number for a second. 22. This is not some random number. To occult scholars, this is the key to the entire system. So why 22? Well, many believe the 22 major arcana cards line up perfectly with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which are the building blocks of the mystical Kabbalah. But here's the problem. There's this one debate that changes everything. The entire sequence, the whole story of the soul's journey, it all hinges on where you decide to place one single unnumbered card, the Fool. Does the journey start with him, or does it end with him? That one question changes the entire meaning of the book. Okay, so we've got the structure, the book's table of contents. Now let's see how it actually talks to us. To really get its symbolic language, we need to crack it open and look at a couple of key pages or cards. And here he is, card 0, the Fool. You can think of him as the main character of the tarot. He represents the soul, that divine spark, right at the moment it's about to start its grand adventure through the material world and learn all the lessons of the other 21 cards. Now, the really important thing to get here is that the Fool is not an idiot. He is divine consciousness wearing the costume of the material world, like a jester's colorful outfit. He represents every single one of us, a divine spark disguised as a fool, about to step off that cliff into the great adventure of life. And remember that whole debate about where he goes, whether he's at the beginning or the end? completely flips the script on whether this is a story about starting a journey or finishing one. All right, let's jump to another really fascinating and super misunderstood card, the Hanged Man. At first glance, it looks like a card about punishment, maybe suffering, but its meaning is actually the total opposite. The Hanged Man is all about enlightenment. See, he's hanging upside down because to achieve real wisdom, you have to completely reverse your perspective on life. It's about voluntarily sacrificing the material world for the spiritual one. He's given up the rule of gold for the golden rule, and by doing that, he's achieved the great work of the alchemists, the complete transformation of the self. So we've talked about ancient Egypt, the Knights Templar, all this mystical philosophy. But the most incredible part of this entire story is that this secret book, this ancient system, it isn't locked away in some vault somewhere. It's probably sitting in a junk drawer in your house right now. That's right. Those 56 cards of the Minor Arcana are the direct ancestors of our modern 52-card deck of playing cards. The secret book didn't just vanish. It just put on yet another disguise. You can see the direct family tree right here. The 4 original tarot suits represented the 4 major classes of society. So the cups of the priesthood, they became our hearts. The swords of the military class became spades. The coins of the merchants and tradesmen became diamonds. And the rods of the farming class, well, those are our clubs. And the secrets don't even stop there. There is an entire calendar coded into that simple deck you play poker with. No, seriously, think about it. The 2 colors, red and black, the 2 halves of the year, the 4 suits, the 4 seasons, 13 cards in each suit for the 13 lunar months, 52 cards for 52 weeks in a year. And get this, if you add up the value of every single card, with the joker counting as 1, the grand total is 365, the number of days in a year. It's mind-blowing. You know, the mystic Alethith Levi once said that a person with no other book than the Tarot, if they truly knew how to use it, could gain universal knowledge. So the next time you see a deck of cards, maybe don't just see a game, see a library, a complex, coded book of ancient wisdom hiding in the most obvious place of all. It really makes you wonder what other secrets are just waiting for us, hiding right there in plain sight.